Hey guys, it's Trevy the Great here again with another 40k battle report. This time we're doing Orks versus Space Wolves, more Space Wolf stuff going on. This time I am playing the Space Wolves and not playing against the Space Wolves. So that's pretty cool. Took out my Space Wolves army for this game. We're doing a smaller game. We're going to see how that works out. We got a lot of newer players. I'm playing with a new army. Well, relatively new army. Last couple of weeks, new army. And the new army smells still sort of wafting around these guys. So we're going to try to run my local club, my local game store. We're going to try to run a couple events at this like 750 point level, and we're going to see how that goes. And so this game was honestly, it was kind of to try out how that sort of game would feel, and see if my list is okay for that sort of the points level, and to obviously get a feel for my army. Because I'm still not yet sort of in the Space Wolves groove. I don't know all the rules. I'm a little shaky on what to do with them, but I think I'm figuring it out. So, obviously, Orks versus Space Wolves. We're doing Dawn of War, Annihilation, so we're just going to beat each other in the face till we die. Unfortunately, I'm playing these Orks, and they have a lot of Orks on the table, so it's going to be very hard to make them all die in horrible ways. My opponent's bringing 2 units of 30 boys, give or take a couple boys. I think he had to drop a couple to fit them into the 750 point limit. They're just slugger boys, no upgrades, nothing special there, just a bunch of face-beating monstrosities. One of the Orc boy units is being led by Gaskell Thraka. That's gonna be a very tough character to deal with in the 750 points, just because toughness 5, a bunch of wounds. He gets that 2+ invulnerable save when he's wogging. So that is ridiculously tough to deal with. So I don't have, obviously, not a lot of anti-tank, nothing that can really break that armor very easily. So we'll see how it goes. My opponent's also got a unit of 20, I think 20 or so Ard boys. They're just Ard boys. They have Shootas, so they're going to be coming in as his reserves in the Dawn of War mission. Not the real reserves, just like the Dawn of War reserves. So they come in first turn and shooting up some Space Marines. Pew pew. What I'm bringing to the table is 2 units of Grey Hunters with Wolf Standard, Wolfen, Power Fist. One has 2 Flamers, the other one has only 9 models, and it has a Melt-A-Gun. Now into that unit goes a Rune Priest. He's got Wolf-Tail Talisman Wolf Tooth Necklace, wolf things with wolf stuff. And he's got Melt-A-Bombs. So he's also got Jaws the World Wolf and Stormcaller. So we're going to see if we can VoIP Thraka with a little Jaws of the World Wolf action. We'll see how that goes. I also have a Lone Wolf with Mark of the Wolfen. Nothing really special there. I just had 35 points to spend and decided to put them into a sweet character. And then I have 6 Long Fangs with 5 missile launchers, just as my whatever, all around kill whatever I am not having a good day with stuff. So they can kill tanks, they can kill Orks, whatever, you have it. So my opponent won the roll to go first. Obviously, this is his deployment. He's just deployed right up on the edge line there. I decided not to deploy any models, so he's going to take the first turn. He's going to probably just move up and just try to swarm the board with Orks, and we'll see how that goes. So here's the end of round 1. Not a heck of a lot to say here. Obviously, my opponent just moved up, ran, yelled really loudly. And then it was my turn, and I brought my units in on this left-hand side. My opponent brought his Ard boys in on the left-hand side of the left-hand flank as well. You can sort of see them a little bit there in the top left-hand of the photo. So I brought all my units in. I brought my Rhinos in a little convoy sort of thing looking, and then the Grey Hunters behind it. Lone Wolf's in that little crashed Aquila spaceship there. The Lone Wolf's, I'm trying to bait my opponent, sort of bait my opponent out with that Lone Wolf, and hopefully he'll assault him with the Orks, and then I'll just pile out and assault him right back. But we'll see how that goes. Right now I'm just trying to bring the Orks forward to me, then give them some rapid fire action, and then charge in and kill them. So yeah, on the other side of the board, my opponent deployed very close to the board edge, and it would have been very tough to bring my units in on that side. So I'm going to bring them over here. I'm going to try to basically kite those units around and see if I can deal with Gaskell's unit before I deal with the other 2 units on the board. So 1 unit at a time, I'm going to focus fire, hopefully kill it, and then see how it goes. So here's the end of round 2. Obviously, my opponent just continued to move up and yell and wave weapons around and shoot in the air wildly. He might have been in assault range of the lone wolf, but he decided to, if he wogged, he definitely would have been in, but he decided to save his wog and basically just hold back at that point. And he wasn't able to assault anything, so I decided that I would just basically kite Goskull's unit and do as much shooting death as I could before I actually got to grips with my opponent. So obviously I brought those rhinos in behind that rock and sort of anchored my little battle line around that. What I was going to try to do is if he was able to assault me, I was going to make it so either he could only assault one unit or he would have to split his models up and assault both of them, which would basically decrease the number of attacks that I would be getting on me. And hopefully be able to wipe out the unit with the combined attacks of 2 Grey Hunter squads. So what ended up happening is that the Grey Hunters and the Grey Hunters with the Flamers especially, and just everybody shooting into these units, the Orks had no cover. It was just insanity, and I ended up wiping out, I think, 21 or so Orks. I brought them down to 8 Ork boys and Gaskull, which meant that they did have to take leadership tests for morale, for losing a bunch of guys, and they did fail it, so the Orks ran away. That basically buys me a whole nother turn that I can shoot at them before I'm going to have to get into assault. Okay, so here is, this is during turn 3. I think I missed a turn in here. I missed a couple photos, I'm sorry. I wasn't too great at taking photos this game. But what's happened is that basically Thraka regrouped and moved up, started shooting at the Grey Hunters that had broke his squad, but wasn't able to do anything. The Ard boys shot at the Grey Hunters, and weren't able to do anything either. I think 1 or 2 wounds actually got taken out of the Grey Hunters, but not a lot of damage. I fired back into the boys that were on the other side. The boys were on the right-hand side. They continued to move up, obviously, and then I fired at them with this Grey Hunter squad, the Lone Wolf, and the Longfangs. The other Grey Hunter squad kept firing at Gaskull's unit, but unfortunately Gaskull's unit was in cover at the point. They ran into cover, and I was only able to kill 1 or 2 of the models. Not do a lot of damage. So so I did a lot of wounds onto this unit this other unit, the second unit that didn't have Goskull in it, and they were just able to continue to advance and eventually assault me in their turn 3, I believe, and they assaulted both the Grey Hunters and the Lone Wolf. It was kind of a giant whiff fight. My Grey Hunters popped their wolf standard, got counterattack, everything. We're only able to do, I think, 4 or 5 wounds, including the attacks from the Power Fist and the Wolfen. The Lone Wolf killed 1 or 2 Orks all by himself, and the Orks, I think, killed 2 Grey Hunters. So overall, it was not that impressive. The Lone Wolf shrugged off a bunch of attacks like a boss. But slowly but surely, I was whittling away at the number of Orks that were fighting me, and then the no retreat hurt even more Orks. And so slowly I was killing these Orks, slowly but surely. Okay, so here's the end of round 4, very pivotal turn for the game. A lot of stuff happened. So in my opponent's turn, what he did was he rocked up with Goskull, rocked up with his Ard boys. They just shot at the Longfangs, didn't do anything at all. And Goskull called his wall. So Goskull got a 2+ invulnerable save. He also, all the Orks ran 6 inches all the time. They got fleet, and for 2 turns that was going to last. So Goskull moved up. He assaulted my unit of Grey Hunters that was there with the one with the Rune Priest, who just couldn't kill him with Jaws of the Wolf over and over. I got 4 Jaws of the Wolf off of him. Nothing happened, but there you go. So Goskull had already taken 2 wounds just from allocating wounds to him from the Orks, allocating armor saves to him from the Ork boys, just so he could keep his boys alive. So I was hoping that with counterattack, even though he's got a 2+ invulnerable save, with counterattack with my Wolf Standard, I was hoping I would be able to get enough attacks on him to do 1 or 2 wounds, because that would make it much easier to deal with. Even if I lost that squad and I killed Goskull, it would have made everything better. Unfortunately, I didn't get any wounds off on Goskull. What I did do is I wiped out the boy squad that was with him, so I did get 1 kill point from that. But Goskull would kill my Rune Priest, put his attacks on my Rune Priest, killed him. So we're 1 for 1 now. We both got a kill point out of that. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to do any wounds to Goskull, and my Grey Hunters their lives were going to be forfeit because Goskull was just going to kill them next turn. So in the other Greyhunter squad that was in combat with the boys, they were also able to bring the boys down to 3 models. They broke them. I rolled a 1 for sweeping advance. I couldn't catch them. They got away. It was all very unlucky. So in my turn, I shuffled my rhinos around a little bit. I moved my one rhino, hid it behind the rock so the Ard boys couldn't assault it and kill it. The other one moved up, and all of the Grey Hunters piled into it. What I was going to do with them was move them around and attack the Ard boys and hopefully kill them and grab a kill point from that. Now, I did fire. I fired the Stormbolters. I fired out the top of the hatch of my Rhino. I fired everything I could at the 3 Orc boys that were running away. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to kill the last one. I rolled pretty bad for my shooting attacks, and I tried to assault them in the assault phase with my Lone Wolf. Unfortunately, he ran away. I couldn't catch him, so that pretty much meant that he was going to be out of the game, and I wasn't going to be able to kill that one model and get that one kill point that I needed. So very unlucky in that sense. I fired at the Ard boys, killed I think 4 of them with crack missiles because there weren't enough to use frag anymore. But other than that, it's getting to be the end of the game, and I need to kill something, and I can't. It's hard to get those kill points out of these units. So turn 5, getting to be very close to the end of the game. Sorry, the picture is really blurry right now. I was taking these on my iPhone actually because I was too lazy to take out my camera, and that unfortunately doesn't take very good pictures. The flash is all weird and like brights things out if I get too close. So this picture is a little awkward. But what I did in turn 5, my Ghazghkull ran up. He couldn't decide whether to attack the Rhino or the Lone Wolf. He decided to attack the Lone Wolf for some reason. I had told my opponent at the beginning of the game the Lone Wolf does not give up kill points when he dies. It's just I lose a kill point if he's still alive. My opponent decided to attack him anyway and then remembered that that was a rule, and I was like, what are you going to do? So he killed the Lone Wolf pretty easily. The Lone Wolf did get 1 more wound on Ghazghkull. Now this meant that Ghazghkull was sitting on 1 wound. I needed him to fail 1 2+ armor save, and then I would kill him. So I was very excited. I felt in my grasp the victory of the game. I could kill Ghazghkull, hopefully kill those Ard boys. Probably not, but we'll see how it goes. Even if I do kill Ghazghkull, I could tie up the game at this point because my opponent did get the Grey Hunters and the Rune Priest, and we'll see if the game keeps going. So what happened here was that Ghazghkull moved up. I piled out of the Rhino. I fired everything at him, shot all of the bolt guns and the flamers and everything shooting at Ghazghkull. Didn't do anything, unfortunately. I rolled really badly. All I did was 2 wounds. He made those saves very easily, and then I just continued to shoot at the Ard boys with my crack missiles because I didn't have line of sight to Ghazghkull with the missiles from the Long Fangs. So here's the end of turn 5. What ended up happening was that Ghazghkull obviously stomped up, assaulted the Grey Hunters, and I figured, okay, I got counterattack off. Unfortunately, I used my Wolf Standard. If I had saved it might have been a little better, but there you go. It didn't really help me fighting the Orks. I rolled a lot of 2s instead of 1s, unfortunately, but there you go. So I got my attacks off. I swung with all the attacks, and I attacked, and Power Fist attacked, and the Wolfen attacked, and everybody attacked, attack, and Ghazghkull passed all of his invulnerable saves, every single one. I couldn't get a wound on him. All I needed was 1 wound, and I did a whole bunch of wounds, and he passed all his armor saves. It was very unlucky for me. Ghazghkull swung back. He killed all but 3 of the Grey Hunters. He killed, I had 1 normal Grey Hunter left. I had my Power Fist. I had my Wolfen. I was like, okay, if they stay in combat, I have a pretty good chance, if the game keeps going, a pretty good chance of killing him next turn because he won't have his invulnerable save anymore. I can Power Fist him and Wolfen him to death and kill him. And I failed my leadership test to hold in combat. And I ended up, Ghazghkull beat me at the initiative roll-off for the sweeping advance. I had to take, I think, 3 armor saves. That was 1 on each guy. I took 1 on the normal Grey Hunter. He passed. The Power Fist and the Wolfen both failed. So my chances of killing Ghazghkull immediately spiraled down the drain, just like soap suds after a shower. And that was pretty much all I could do. The game was pretty much over then. We rolled to see if it kept going. We rolled a 1, so that was the end of the game. I ended up losing because I had killed one unit of Orc boys, and my opponent had killed the Grey Hunters and the Rune Priest. My other Grey Hunters were reduced to one model. Obviously, they don't afford a kill point. I also had that unit of the one Orc running around. He was a kill point. Gaskell had one wound left. He was a kill point. And I'd killed all but 5 or 6 or 7 of the Ard boys, and they were another kill point. So all in all, it was a great game. It was very close. I think if the game had kept going, I had a pretty good chance with just my Long Fangs of at least tying it up. They could have gotten around to shooting off on Gaskell. Hopefully, just wounded, done enough 2+ wounds to kill him, or just kill the Ard boys. One or the other would have done it. Unfortunately, that was not to be. The Orc hordes won the day this one. But honestly, I think it did come down to a lot of dice rolls. There were a lot of saves that my opponent rolled 2s on for Gaskell. If he rolled 1s, then he would have died. But there you go. That's how the game goes sometimes. And that one Orc boy just annoyed me to death. The fact that I couldn't kill him was so annoying to me. That he just got away, and I was like, oh no, I couldn't kill the one Orc boy. But there you go. That's how the game goes sometimes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this battle report. Stay tuned for more battle reports. I got a couple more Space Wolves battle reports going on, and I have a couple more exciting things happening. I'm trying to play more War Machine. I love War Machine. It's my favorite game. I don't know if you guys like War Machine or not, but I'm going to try to get some more War Machine battle reports out there. And my local game club is starting a Warhammer Fantasy campaign, so I'm going to play in that. Play my Lizardmen, bring them out, hopefully paint a couple of them. That would be wacky. And then get some Warhammer Fantasy battle reports with Lizardmen out to you guys. So stay tuned for all of those shenanigans and everything else. And peace out, everybody.